So technical updates for November 2024. I believe I've covered them all off. And they've already started putting in the technical update. I think they're getting ready for their holidays as well. They're already starting putting in the updates for December, which of course we won't cover until after the holiday season. So this one is the new file picker. So this is using an API. I don't know how many people use the APIs, but it's allowing people to optimize sort of like user experience and things like that when creating applications. That may or may not be of interest to anyone, but that's one of the updates. The next one here is if you're using Gemini, or if you're using sort of like Gemini Classification and Gemini Premium, AI classification supports now. You can train the LLM, so you can train the AI based on what you are actually looking for. So as you can see there, you can select which fields that you want the AI to focus on, and then it will train the AI to populate based on the fields that you select. This next one it's launching to beta, and it's if you're dealing with outside agencies, I don't know, like local authorities or things like that, where you may be a Google-based school, college, but you also may have to deal with sensitive documents that come in Microsoft Word format. There's now interoperability between the sensitive Microsoft Word docs and Google Docs that directly support client-side encryption, so that you're completely in control of all of those. So it's just making it easier if you get, I know from my own personal experience, I've worked in schools that, you know, we were on Google, the local authority were on Microsoft, and they would send us sort of like encrypted documents, and it didn't always work out. But this is just making it easier, whether it's coming from a Microsoft point of view or whether it's coming from a Google point of view. You now have that. So that's in beta. This next one is for Google Chat settings. So these can now be applied at group level. So those are all the things that you as an admin can now do to apply Google Chat settings at that group level. So I'm not going to read it out. You can see it on the screen, third-party archiving and things like that. This next one is policy visualization. So this is if you've got sort of trust rules, DLP rules set in place, then you now have that visualized across Google Drive. So you can see whether it is sort of like within the policy or without the policy, and the actions that are being prevented by those policies. So it's just, I suppose it's more transparency. I wouldn't call it visualization. I would call it transparency of these rules are in place, and you know the content in your doc or in your slide or in your Google Sheet even is potentially breaking that policy. This one is more to do with if you have meets and things like that. So if you live stream a meet, typically if you're on a meet like we are at the minute, in-call messages, so messages that people post into the chat, are able to be viewed by people who are within the meet. But if you're live streaming it, then the person isn't technically in the meet. They're just taking the stream. So now what they're allowing you to do is for people that you're live streaming to, they can also see the in-call messages, the in-call chat, basically. This one's quite an important one. Again, it's all to do with sort of like DLPs and things like that. If you're using the label manager within Gmail, you've now got data classification labels so that you can set those as confidential, internal, external, and then you can apply those labels based on the rules that you create. This next one again is to do with Gemini and Gems. So within Gem, you can now upload directly from Google Drive documents into a Gem and have the AI query those documents. It's up the limit to it is, I believe it's 10 documents. So you can literally link up 10 documents from your Google Drive into a Gemini Gem and query it based on what you're looking for. But bearing in mind that it applies to Gemini Enterprise and Education Premium users. And this next one again is to do with Gemini. There's going to be an awful lot of this in the coming months. The expansion of what Gemini does, because the big focus of Google at the minute, obviously, is AI. It's on everyone's, number one thing to look into. But they mentioned this, I think, a couple of months ago, that they were going to, because originally Gemini was only going to be 18 plus, and now they're now making it available. They're expanding that because within schools they're going to make it 13 plus. So you can add, you can give access to the Gemini AI to students 13 plus, and it will be data protected. So as you can see there, is anything that the under 18s are actually using are not going to be is protected. So it's safeguarded. So it's not actually going to be used to improve the AI or do anything like that. They will be marked as being under 18. And that's it. That's a very quick one. Like I said, I've got more updates that have already started coming in, that have come in already this month, but we'll cover those. And I think that image there, that Merry Christmas image at the bottom there, I think that's Paul getting ready for Christmas. I might be wrong, but so let me just stop that out there. And I'm back into the meet and stop presenting. So is there anything there that Nick?
Thanks, James. The 13 plus thing is really important for us because we really want to steer our kids away from using other AI platforms and into using Gemini for all the obvious reasons. Do you have any insights to whether that's also going to apply to Notebook LM at any point in the future? Because we're quite keen to kind of get moving with that because of its ability to sort of support study.
Yeah, there hasn't been any announcement specifically about Notebook LM. It's more about the Gemini core app, which is now obviously built into the admin panel. I haven't heard anything about Notebook LM, but I'm sure that's coming.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think we've said before, haven't we? There's a strong chance that the two will be combined at some point because
Yes.
they are converging. Notebook LM isn't a core service, whereas Gemini is. So Gemini is covered under Google's agreements. Interestingly, I saw something yesterday around the fact somebody was asking the question, do we need to get parental permission for Gemini? And Google's response was that as it's a core service rather than an additional service, you don't need to legally seek additional approval from parents, although they did recognize that some organizations may want to do that.
Yeah. I totally understand that. I mean, if it is a core service, then it's covered under all of the legal setups and the data protection and all the rest of it. The additional services are not covered under SLA, for example. A lot of people don't understand that if it's not covered under the Google SLA, it's things like YouTube. It's just not covered. It's just the core services, but Gemini is a core service, and now available for the 13 plus. So that would cover the majority of secondary school upwards. It obviously wouldn't cover primary school.
There wasn't a load this month, really, was there, in terms of announcements from our side?
No, there really wasn't. I mean, there's probably more. I don't know what Paul covered yesterday from a user point of view, but again, it's I guess it's the time of the year they're sort of like winding down a little bit towards the holiday season. Yeah, like I say, there are more updates that have come in already for December, but we'll cover those in January. So that was nice today.
Short and sweet.